YouTube. Welcome back to another video. Welcome back. Today's going to be a very interesting video because we're going to be talking about 5 trucking companies that no longer exist. With that being said, I do want to mention that we will not be speaking of Yellow and everything they have going on right now in the media. But we will be speaking of some companies that a lot of people may not remember and some guys may never even heard of. And they do have some interesting stories that go with them. Again, remember to like, comment, and subscribe to get more videos. Now let's get started. 5. Nationway Transport. Nationway was founded by Jerry McMorris and his late father, Don McMorris. Together at that time, they grew the company to one of the largest trucking companies in the industry with over 4,000 employees. At one point, the company even had revenues as $300+ million a year. But of course, all good things must come to an end, and with $19 million in debt and $2 million in unpaid pension funds, the union no longer wanted to wait for McMorris to come up with a plan. So the company filed for bankruptcy and ceased operations in the year of 1999. At that time, the company had 2,000 trucks. Number 4. Preston Trucking. Preston was founded in 1932 in Preston, Maryland, by Albert W. Sisk and Sons. Originally created for the wholesale canned good company, Preston grew to the 20th largest trucking company in the U.S., with whopping revenues of over $100 million annually, acquiring companies like OK Hillman Trucking and Kirby Transfer and more. The company also survived many obstacles like the Great Depression, and also being charged by the EEOC, Employment Opportunity Commissions, for their discriminatory hiring practices in 1972. But again, all good things must come to an end, and in 1999, the company could no longer afford their bills and had many bank violations. And on Monday, July 26, 1999, Preston Trucking ceased all operations. Number 3. Transcon Lines. Transcon was once one of the largest trucking companies in the U.S. and all of Southern California. With over 4,000 employees, 247 terminals, and 45 different states. Transcon was at the top of its class, being one of the largest companies in the game. But they also had liabilities of $120 million. Which brings us to why they're on our list. At some point, the company became in very bad shape. They were losing over $1 million a month. They also began to miss payments on their employee pension fund, which resulted in them being sued by their union. The company's values were being ran down. It made it very easy for investors to come along and gain control. Which leads us to Lenny Pelulio. Mr. Lenny gained control of Transcon in 1990 for just $12. His reign did not last very long because just after 19 days, the company went out of business. And Lenny was later accused of siphoning millions of dollars from the company before its demise. And again, yes, I did say he gained control of the company for just $12. Number 2. Jevic Transportation. Jevic was founded in 1981 in Delano, New Jersey by Karen and Harry Mushlegal. Jevic was a company that hauled both LTL and truckload freight. They were also very known as a company that hauled the heavier freight than the other companies. One of the things that made this company stand out was their dock to dock delivery service, which was a very superior service for some of their customers since they did not use break bulk centers. Also, the company had what they like to call the heat fleet, which was a division that stood out because it had heated trailers to keep certain products warm in the wintertime. Jevick was also a very innovative company, being the first company with satellite tracking in the year of 1994, landing them an extra 5,000 new customers, raising their revenues an extra $125 million. At its peak, Jevitt had over 2,000 employees and whopping revenues of $226 million. But eventually, the company would sell to Yellow Corporation, and Yellow would later sell the company again to Sun Capital Partners for just $40 million in 2006. And unfortunately, in 2008, the company would close its doors, citing high fuel costs and insurance, while the market was in a recession. Over 1,000 employees were out of a job with no notice. Number 1. Arrow Trucking. On January 8th, 2010, Arrow filed for bankruptcy after they were being sued by Utah Bank for fraud. But let's rewind to only just a few weeks earlier, before this bankruptcy filing. Arrow abruptly ceased all operations, stranding drivers all over the country, some with loads, some with no loads. They turned off the fuel cards, making it to where drivers could not fuel their tractors to get to a safe haven. To put a bigger dent in the situation, it was just 3 days before Christmas. But of course, good things happen to people who deserve them. And the CEO, Mr. Doug, pleaded guilty to tax evasion and fraud in 2015, and he was sentenced to 7.5 years for his crimes. Thanks for clicking on the video. I hope you enjoyed it. Remember to like, comment, and subscribe. And I'll see you in the next video.